Hello, hello, hello.
User left your channel. User joined your channel.
Okay, a few technical difficulties, guys. Sorry, I kind of jumped into the commentary box a little bit last minute. Sorting out a few things, a little bit late to the party. Trying to sort out TV cam and voice and whatnot. Anyway, we are here for the AEC at Road America for round 2 of the 2020 championship. Currently looking at Mark Swerker, probably the quickest guy in DPI at the moment, as he is a second quicker than the rest of the field in his part of qualifying, which is just insanity and really shows you how good of a driver this guy really is. Behind him we got Chirinos, second down on his lap time. Then we got Munez, Rosas and Isaias, and then Ragland seems to be a little bit behind the field, but second to fifth in DPI at least seems to be all within a second and very close and competitive. I think that's Mark done, unless he's going to quickly try and get out and do a last lap. Or is he going to be happy with being second up on the rest of the field? I think he's going to hope that that stays. Journos, however. Through the carousel, I believe. I wonder if Chernos is going to be able to go for another lap if he has enough fuel for it. Let's see if he's going to get another crack at trying to knock a second out of his own time to try and match Swerker. He goes across and he nearly does it though on that time. Just 0.19 tenths down on Swerker's time. He was doing 46s, I believe, when I saw him in practice, so that's a big improvement on himself. So he's really pushing the limits of himself and that car to try and match the almighty Swerker. Yeah, those two well clear the rest of the field. Can anyone else match them? Philip Muns, he's in the pits, he's not going to be doing a lap. Neither's going to be one. Isaias is going to try. I think Isaias' best bet is trying to get into the top three. Just try and beat Muniz, as they're all very close, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Raglan's out there trying to improve on his time. He's got a lot of time to make up with that. Let's go to LMP2 now, and we've got Nathan Moss. He's in the pits, he's taking tyres. He won't be doing another lap. He's safe by only 0.2 of a second over Nick, who's currently going out again. Reforce car, blue and gold, looks very nice, I must say. Probably going to be on his last lap, see if he can snatch pole for the LMP2 category. Right on board with him. One through here, it's almost flat, little bit of a lift, trying to get back onto it, roll into the throttle. As you come into the exit of the carousel, I'm pretty sure it's going to be flat for the LMP2s. Maybe it's a little lift through this kink. Nope, I don't think so. But he's got it pinned. I don't know what the split is. We joined late on his lap. In the braking zone now, it's got to be pulled up straight. He's got to get it turned in nice and early. Good exit, good runoff. Gonna take this corner nice and wide to straighten it out as much as possible. Get over to the left-hand side as you're braking again for the last corner. I think he should have been a little bit wider on exit. This is all the runoff there. Now charges up the hill. What's the time going to be? Is it going to be an improvement? Can he snatch pole for the LMP2s? Yes, he can, and he does it by 0.3 of a second. That's a very good lap, and I'm sure Nick will be very pleased with himself on that one. Is anyone behind him going to be able to go for another lap? Martin's on a lap. How far is he down? He's down by a second with his current best time. He's about to finish his lap as well. Can he pull it up straight? Yes, he can. He turned in a little bit early there. Uses up a decent amount of the runoff. Not as much as what I think he'd like to. He'll be a little bit slower here. I don't think he's going to be going for pole. He seems to be a lot slower on corner entry. And is he going to dart into the pits? Yes, he is. As I suspect. So he's in the pits. I think that's going to be it. We've got Carlos Frau. I don't think he's going to have... Oh no, yeah, he's going to be finishing up his lap here. He's currently 13th. He's second to last. No, he will not improve, and he's going to have to take second to last in the LMP2s. Followed by Thomas Raschke. He's on a cool-down lap, so not a good time out for Thomas Raschke. ETDs, however, qualified just before we jumped in on stream. We got Bruno on pole. Does he in? He's going to be in the Lexus. So he's on pole. The GTD. Raschke missing a splitter. He's gone well wide there. What's happened to him? I don't know if he's crashed beforehand, but he's certainly crashed after the fact, and he's going to be limping. He's flashing Nick there. I don't know if that's congratulating him or if Nick's gotten into him, but they both have their lights on, so I don't know what's happened between them. If Nick's made an attempt on Thomas's life there, but yeah, I don't think Thomas, he doesn't seem too pleased with him. Getting up him, and he's given him a little bit of a shove there. I don't feel like Thomas is very happy at all. And Thomas cuts across into the pit lane. I don't think he's very happy at all with Nick there. A little bit of an awkward one that we walked in on. Second in GTD is going to be Isaac Silver, teammate, so it's going to be a front row lockout for them. Richard Wanders in the beautiful Castrol, must say myself. Christian Alvarez, that's a surprise for me. I haven't seen him be so competitive. I don't think he attends many races, and he doesn't get to a lot of the time. Hopefully his internet can hold up for this one. There's my car, obviously. Won't be driving today. And everybody's gone bye-bye. Here we are. A quick flick through. Christian Alvarez, Delara in 5th. Gustavo in a Porsche for place in the GTDs. Bernard in Lexus. I'm gonna get a TV cam. No, we're not. Bad. I believe he's in the lap. Lane. Got Marco coming out. Almost Porsche-inspired livery for the factory teams with the paint scheme. But he's, for IVRC, he's decorated in sponsors. A very pretty car. That rounds out the rest of the grid. I believe they're going to be going out for a warm-up at the moment. A lot of the top guys sitting in, not too fussed about going out and getting some practice. I'm sure Mark wouldn't need it. He might with Jesus being how close he is. Whoops. I've having issues with Thomas Rashke and his internet. He seemed to be blinking in and out a little bit there. There, we got Mr. Drifter himself, the Castrol car. Quickest time for a GTD is a 2:01. At least in this server. That was the old pole lap, was a 2:01.8. For reference, the LMP2's pole time for them was a 1:49.2, so it's about 13 seconds quicker a lap. Mark Swerker in the LMP1 class is about not even 5 seconds quicker, about 4.5 seconds quicker with a 1:44.9 being a pole lap in LMP. So prototypes are relatively close. I assume that the top end of the LMP2s will be surely scaring the people at the bottom of the DPIs. In terms of lap time, that could be an interesting factor. GTDs though, they got a long way to get to LMP2 territory in terms of lap time. Although the MP1 guys opting not to take part in warm-ups, a little bit odd to me that they wouldn't. A little bit odd to me that the LMP1 guys are not opting to go out and practice. I do know that Mark is a very qualified driver, so I don't think it's going to help him improve much. I know Chirinos puts in a lot of effort to his racing as well, so I'm sure that they will be fine. However, the back end of GTD, he's out there, he's trying to get some laps in. These guys, however, no. Got one Porsche coming out. Sitting in. It's kind of 1 for 1 in the GTDs. Richard just starting to come in, so I don't know if he's going to come in and do a practice pit stop maybe. That's what he's doing, looks like it. Going to take tyres with that car being jacked up in the air. Top of the GTD, one teammate opts to go out, another one opts to stay in. He's quite comfortable. Thomas Rashki, probably the guy that needs the most practice in the LMP2s, at least judging from qualifying. He's staying in, as he's having some issues I've seen with his car. And as I speak of the devil, he's going out. Carlos Frau, he's helping me out a little bit, so I think that's why he's sitting there, but maybe he's comfortable where he is. Got a numberless car here. He's coming around. Wildcard livery. Who is that? Just for future reference, that's Alejandro Munoz. I call him Alejandro, sounds like a very cool name. Just look at the difference here with how quick he's going to be overtaken in this Lexus with a very throaty engine. Look at that LMP2 just ripping around his outside. Almost seems that acceleration-wise seems to be where the LMP2 shines, but once they get to nearly top end, they even out a little bit, the LMP2 does keep pulling for its top end. A very throaty sound from the Lexus. The GTD category is a very nice sound. Much more raspy sound from the 6-cylinder in the back of that Porsche. Porsche again. Porsche again. On board of the LMP2s. Very high pitch from them. Comes Thomas Rashki. I think he's going to be doing a practice pit stop maybe. It's going to be important here. I suspect we're going to be having about 3 to 4 stops in this. The rough estimate for all the way around. I assume damage might make some people go for 5. Hopefully there isn't too much damage and everyone can get away cleanly. Got 22 drivers in total. You have the option for a safety car to come out as well. Thomas revs his engine in neutral. Yeah, these guys for the GTDs look to be very strong, at least in the AES version that we've got going here. just to mention, we do have an AEC that was streamed last week. That's the competition that you guys saw last week was the AEC. This week is going to be AES actually. Both part of the same competition. It's not graded on ability at all. Really just split quite randomly. We just tried to be kept together. It's the only thing that was a determining factor. But yeah, we had 40, or more than 40 entries. I think more than 50 to be honest, which is insane. So that obviously had to be split up right away and split into 2 slots. So we're gonna go on a rotation between each slot every week. So don't worry if it's a whole bunch of different drivers from last week and you're getting a little bit confused. Everybody's gone. However, if attendance in both series go down, they will merge and we'll be back up to full grid size again. So not to worry. Be low attendance figures. However, today we do have, as I said, 22 cars, so it is not a low attendance at all, it must be said. Raglan's the only person in DPI to set a lap time. He's out there getting some practice, I assume. Like it anymore. Max Worker still sitting in there, fast on getting any practice in. Very laid back guy he is. Christian Alvarez, I believe, in that Lamborghini is one of the only drivers to be in the Lamborghini. Oh! That's a very violent wreck as he's come off that curb very awkwardly, I think, coming out of the kink, or maybe just run a little bit wide into the outside wall and ricocheted to the inside and back to the outside. He will not be happy with himself about that. Second flag, so I think we're going to be moving on to the race, ladies and gentlemen, the exciting part of tonight. It's going to be a 90-minute race. Obviously, again, we are in Road America. See all classes line up. Hopefully we do have a little bit of separation between the classes when we start, I hope. I heard that last week that wasn't done as best it could be. So hopefully the drivers are a little bit more courteous to the other classes. Give some room, especially the LMP2s, as front guys can definitely challenge the bottom half of the DPIs if the DPIs are a little bit unsighted first laps. Listen to that grid, that is immensely loud. I hope everyone makes it, because we're going to have a DPI that won't make it. No, he just makes it. Isaias just makes it back to the grid. I believe he did the NEC, the Nürburgring 6-hour solo. Very big achievement for him. Showing that endurance does not faze him. Fortunately, in the back end of the DPI grid, however. I'll try and quickly run you through the grid. We got Mark Swerker on the pole for the DPI with a 1:44.9. Very quick lap from him. Behind him, we're going to have Jesus Chirinos. Very competitive though, he's only 0.2 off Mark, so showing that he might be able to take the fight to Mark. We'd hope at least. There was a pretty big gap back to the rest of the DPI grid, with Philip Mons edging out Juan Rosas and Antonio Isaias. I believe that was, yeah, these three were within about half a second, I believe, so that could be tight for the bottom spot of the podium, providing that the two cars up front don't get tangled up and keep a clean race. Who knows, one of the guys in the third and fifth might be able to pick up the pace in the race. Back end of DPI, however, it's going to be Kenneth Ragland. He seems to have a lot of pace missing, at least in qualifying, to try and make up. Go to LMP2, no, yes, LMP2 now. Your pole sitter is going to be Nick. He did a very good lap right at the end to edge out the guy starting next to him, Nathan Matos. I believe those guys were fairly dominant in LMP2. However, everyone behind was very close with David Folletto, Martin Jaztek, who's done a little bit of commentary himself. Jonas Berto, he's fresh out of a IndyCar race last night that was delayed due to a lot of technical difficulties. Did alright, however, ended up 2 laps down. Not too sure that's the race he wanted. Hopefully he can improve things today. Got Alejandro in a very bland white LMP2 car there, so hopefully that changes for him as well. And he can make that car looking very pretty. Much as Thomas Raschke with his car, with the white, gold and black looking very good for C-Force Racing. Carlos Frau, again in LMP2, teammate. He's a little bit up the field, so I think that, starting just 2 cars in front of him. Sure, he'd like to beat his teammate as they are in equal machinery. Then we go to the pole for the GTDs. It's going to be Bruno siding with his teammate Isaac Silva. Richard Wanders in the first Porsche of the grid after a Lexus lockout. Then we got the only Lamborghini with Christian Alvarez, Tony Dallara, Gustavo, Marco Delandri, Bernard Moz starting from the pit lane for GTD. Anyway, go to Mark. Going to lead off the DPI field. We will see these guys can all make a clean getaway with the 6 drivers in DPI. Here they come. Going to be starting very shortly. He rounds the final corner. I believe he's going to end up running to the line for this one. LMP2s are a little bit closer than I thought they would be. Kenneth Ragland is kind of backing off a bit. He should be right up there, but he's just backed right off. That's very strange. And off away goes Mark as he gets a very poor start, I think, as Chirinos is going to be right up with him. However, third place man, he's going to be right there. Everyone's got the slipstream, and they're going to be swamping Mark as it's 3 wide for second. As they come down the hill, Mark swoops in ahead. And Mark gets turned! No! Your pole sitter! He's going to have it all to do if he can keep it out of the wall. That's huge! That is huge. I'm in disbelief at that. Chirinos, he's also off the front row for LMP1. Has it all to play for now. These guys look mega quick in qualifying, but they're going to have it all to do now as they're going to have to find their way back up through the field. Thomas Raschke, it seems, to keep his position in LMP2. Looking to GTD now, it seems to be those Lexuses are kind of running away with it as Richard tries to fend off 2 Porsches. I think that would mean that, yes, Christian Alvarez had a very poor start, losing a few positions. Marco seems to hold his position. Bernard starting from the pit lane, he gets out and avoids all the carnage. Lucky for him. Mark Sverker. Just look at the pace that he has over these GTDs with the LMP1, and look at him as he gets all cars. It's going to be very tight on the way through. I don't think those Porsches are going to be very happy with him. However, Mark is going to be on a charge, as you can already see the next car in front of him with Richard Wanders. Going to have it all to play for. So who will that put for the lead? That's going to put us, Antonio Isaias, up the grid into first, Philip Munns in second, and Kenneth Ragland in third. So that's 3 DPIs he's passed off the start. So great start for Kenneth. I'm sure he's going to be very happy with that. Juan Rosas, he's got a pretty big gap he needs to make up, and he also has Nathan Matos behind him. It was 3 wide, or maybe even 4 wide, I think, at one point coming into turn 1 last time round, as we're going to have a battle behind them. Nick manages to hold off Martin Yaztek for LMP2, but they got a DPI coming up behind them. Jesus is going to want to make quick work of these guys to try and charge in for the lead. Can he get through? Yes, he can. Martin lets him by. Carlos behind. So Carlos has had an okay start. He's kept his nose clean and he's got a big gap of Alejandro Munz and Thomas Raschke. Mark's working now already on the back. He's dispersed of the top three at GTD. Ready from him. Bruno seems to be pulling away from his teammate, Isaac Silva, very quickly. Those guys are very close in qualifying, so I'm surprised pulled out such a big gap already. Richard has ran away from the other Porsches as they were caught up in Mark's rage-filled charge through the back of the field. Put it on pole and to be done like that and be served into turn one is not something that you want to see. So I assume that there will be a very harsh penalty slapped down for whoever was at fault for that. Certainly wasn't Mark. Christian Alvarez, though, he's managed to surge his way up into fourth again, overtaking both the Porsches and getting back his position where he started. Savo Luke, I think he's had a very average start as well. Marco, I think, has been alright as he's managed to outdo Dallara as Dallara runs wide and into the wall at the carousel. Getting a little bit too eager with the throttle there. Poor guy, Bernard, very far back. He's not even at the carousel yet. So he's going to have a lot of work to make, a lot of room to make up. Davy Folletto, what's happened to him? He's back down below all the GTDs, one that started from the pit lane, mind you, so I assume he is pitted. Oh no, he's in the wall! He's out of the race! This is... I believe the server has crashed, or we've had too many wrecks. That's... I'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. I will try and find out what the issue is for that.
User left your channel. User joined your channel.
You guys were not meant to hear any of that, but anyway, we will run with it. Very technical difficulties. I haven't done this in a very long time, lady. That is server crap. Alright guys, we are back after a few difficulties. So the server crashed, so I'm sure there will be a lot of people that'll be very happy about that. Mark Swerker being very happy indeed, as he was right at the back of the field. No fault of his own really, he was taken out into turn one, no fault of his own. Was swamped down into turn one. He managed to hold everybody off though, but someone missed their braking marker, or at least didn't see Mark turning in and get him a tap on the way in, sent him around and firewall. Very unfortunate for him. BDD was very mixed up initially as well, however everyone seemed to sort themselves. I assume GTD will be very similar this time by. Sure, Mark is going to be very, very defensive now, trying to hold off for that first place and hoping for there isn't going to be a repeat. The car's lined up now. Sitting, waiting for the race to start. Like behind the scenes, put out a few. That would probably be grid order. Yes. I believe that's it. Here we go. It's going to be race time. Again. There you go, you got some people standing up by the gantry looking at a wall. So we will be waiting. Drag on P2, I don't think that's right, unless we're going to do a reset positions from before. See what happens. That. Oh, we're going to go again. Okay, so whoever was gridding the made a mistake. Well then. Bring up the stream. Guys are saying, if you're saying anything at all, I'm sure most of you is. probably from the other race, this race. Maybe some of the driver's family. Hello to you if any of you guys are watching, or friends. Got any questions? Try and speed this up a little bit. Apologies if the voice is choppy, the way we're having to stream this. Very choppy. Race now. Hopefully, fingers crossed. For what is it, attempt number 3? We'll just call it the first attempt, right? Let's forget anything. So, have we taken... Yeah, so we've taken the order that everyone was in from before, when the race ended. From the grid. Going to leave us in the order of Philip Manus first for the DPI, very different. Kenneth Raglan managed to get up to second place for the DPIs now, after starting in 6th. So that's very, very beneficial for him. I think we've had a new entry, that being Philip Fernandez. As he rounds out 7th, Mark Swerker managed to get up to 6th. That's going to help him though, he's got no more traffic to deal with. Him and Chirinos are going to be very eager to get going. We got Antonio Isaias, he was the leader after the huge kerfuffle that we had down in turn 1 and for the whole of the first lap. I'm sure I missed a lot, but there are a few crashes throughout. As I run you into the LMP2 grid, we've got Nathan Matos leading that with Martin Yaztek in 2nd, along with Carlos Frau managing to work his way all the way up into 3rd place in class. Alejandro rounding out 2nd row for them. Nick Upulsit off LMP2 has dropped all the way down to 5th place in class, ahead of Thomas Rashke and Davey Filetto, and Berto is going to be your last car for the LMP2 grid. Back to him, yep, so he's dropped the... Oh, no, I would say he's dropped the furthest back. I'd say Nick's probably dropped the furthest back. Thomas is going 2 positions out of that. The GTDs, however, they're very similar, if not identical, I think. Only red and blue and white Porsche is the only one who's made up or lost any places. Lara had a very shaky start going carousel, that didn't favour him. greatly. Find our way now back to the head of the field in DPI. There's a safety car. And into the final section. Come out of here, you can see slightly up the hill. Go through the final few twists and turns. We head up the hill for the start-finish straight. So, has the Olympics backed off? They've backed off a little bit, so I don't know. We'll see what happens into turn one. Let's hope. I'm sure Mark is hoping that someone in front of him gets done as hard as he was. Anyway, we've got 7 cars for DPI now. Make it a little bit more interesting. I haven't seen Philip Fernandez. We don't know what his pace is like. Buns seems to be unchallenged here as he goes. Kenneth Ragland gets a very poor start. He's going to drop all already down to third, but here goes Isaiah to his inside. Kenneth's going to get a huge run though. It's going to be 3 wide for the lead in DPI. I think Kenneth's going to back out of it. He's going to be a little bit smart here. Isaiah backs out of it too. Kenneth right on the outside. It's not going to work out though. Manas comes up and slots in front of him. Isaiah's trying to slot in front. Can he get in front? No, he can't. Kenneth Ragland back down into third, now fourth as Chirinos makes quick work of him. He's going to have his teammate though, Mark Swerker, charging up through the field. Chirinos gets pushed off wide a little bit there. Got Ryan Rosas trying to make a move, thinks better of it. LMP2's now got the Volks car, he's leading the way. That being Nato in first. Oh, a little bit of a tiny glitch there. My apologies. Both the Porsches here. Christian Alvarez. Oh, here comes Richard Wanders trying to sort out these 2 Lexuses as it nearly goes 3 wide. That's pain that we're going 3 wide in many of different classes here. Richard's he really doesn't want to let go of these Lexuses as they are mega quick. He wants to get in the way. He wants to sort them out quick smart. I believe he was very close to second in qualifying, so he want to disrupt that and claim what he believes will be rightfully his. Comes on the back. Can he make a move happen? Going to be all over the back, but that Lexus is going to have the slipstream from his teammate. He's going to make a move on his teammate. These teammates are not working together. They don't seem to be too good at teammates. It's going to give Richard the gap. He's going to get by both of them almost. Can he get it done? It's squeezed to the inside. He's going to have to go around to the outside. It's going to compromise him very heavily. That could have been awesome for Richard there. It's going to switch to the inside though. Is he going to get his nose chopped? Yes, he is. Here comes Christian Alvarez as he's going to get a really good run up on his inside of Richard Wanders. He's going to come up the hill. It's going to be a drag race now down into turn 1. I think Richard in that Porsche is going to edge him just a little bit. I think he got a little bit better of a run. Alvarez is going to have the inside line for braking though, and his nose is in there. Up slides Alvarez. I think he's going to run wide. No, he doesn't. Richard twitching that curve. Go behind them though. That's Checo, as he's known. Thomas Raschke trying to sort his way through the pack. As I think, yes, that's Richard. He's run wide. He's dropped back. That's going to hurt him a lot. He will be fuming as he was battling for the lead, just coming into the final few corners, and now he's well back. He's down 5th or even 6th in class. Unless he's got a lot of work to do. And here he is. He's 2nd to last in his class. No, he's 3rd to last in his class. This Porsche seems to be having a really tough time trying to keep it together. Oh, we got a retirement. Is that Isaiah? No, it's Philip Fernandez, so he's backed out of this. He joined and then he's left, so I wonder if that was a little bit of confusion on his part, or if someone's told him, get out mate, you didn't qualify. So Max Work has made quick work of the entire DPIs. He's worked his way up from 6th first in just a matter of laps. So he's going to be very pleased with himself, and he's believe that he's back where he belongs. 2nd place, Philip Manas, trying to make a move on him, trying to hang on to the pace of Mark Swerker. He's going to look down, he's inside, he's going to get very close. He's going to be all over his rear bumper. Mark, he's going to be very scared. He doesn't want a repeat of what happened in our first attempt to do this race. Going to try and keep clearing the nose. Philip Munns. Sayers though. Philip Fernandez, his teammate, he's going to hang in there. Cyrano's, he's got the pace to keep up with Mark, but he's not showing it at the moment. He's back with his teammate Juan Rosas. Quite a fair way back there, 4 seconds. 4 seconds they got to make up to try and catch up to that pack. LMP2 dominating now, Nathan Matos, as he's got the 2 cars behind him battling. He's going to be loving that. Who slipped by though? Martin Yaztek, Carlos Frau's teammate. He's not going to get the better of Nick this time by. Lights back through as they're all ran side by side. I think that's going to be the end of it for them. Berto around the outside. He's going to run wide. Carlos Frau seems to slip up his inside as well. Coming into there, Carlos is going to get a run on his teammate. Very smart team player, Carlos, though, so I don't think he's going to make a move on his teammate, at least not a rational, or at least not an irrational one. Berto losing out there. David Folletto trying to hold on to the back of these guys. Newbie, I believe, Alejandro. He seems to be handling alright. I've seen people do a lot worse than the first time out. So, good effort on him. I'll just see him round a little bit more. Kenneth Ragland started second, and look how far back he is in the DBI. He's well back now. Last of the LMP2, I should say. Thomas Raschke now, he's managed to sort his way very squarely. Does he manage to hold it? Yes, he does. It's going to be a Lexus 1-2, but Christian Alvarez now showing the pace that Richard did just a few laps ago. Christian Alvarez is going to be able to make anything of it. He's going to be tossed out like the Lexus drivers have been doing to many of the others in this grid. He had a very similar run to Richard. He's going to get squeezed. Yes, he does. He gets squeezed even more so than Richard. This is almost a carbon copy. Gets squeezed again, pushed wide. I do not think that he's going to be very happy with us. Zach Silva is Christian Alvarez in that Lamborghini. Only Lamborghini, I believe, in the GTD field at the moment. Salvo Luke trying to catch up along with Richard Wanders, who's lost a lot of ground. That's unfortunate for him. Bernard, who started from the pit lane first time round, he's had a lot better of a start and he's managed to make up 2 position. Got Mark Sverker now leading. To be fair to him though, or to be fair to the others I should say, they haven't been dropped by Mark. He's only just slightly ahead of where he was before. He's still within half a second, so still slipstream is in play here. That's going to help out these guys. But sorry, apologies for that. Just a little stream error. That's very close together though, within a second of each other. Philip, I'm sure, does not want to let go of this lead. Chirinos, I believe, is making some pretty big inroads though. Juan's being dropped by Jesus. Nick now leads the LMP2s. Martin just behind. Carlos Frau in 3rd place in class. Jonas Berto managing to hold 4th. He's got Kenneth Ragland behind him, the DPI. I'm telling you, as I said beforehand, the LMP2s can keep up with the back end of DPI. But Kenneth Ragland is going to have a huge straight line speed advantage as he's going to go up the inside. I don't think Berto is going to like this, neither would I, if I were him. Because he might catch him in the corners again unless Kenneth makes a mistake. That's what you'd be hoping for if you were in Berto's position, hoping that he gets off the track, who's well behind you and you don't have to worry about him. Actually, he might like the slipstream and a little bit of tow to try and catch up to the top 3 and back into the podium positions. Would be very good for him. David Folletto trying to catch up again. Thomas Raschke, he's dropped so far, at least in this. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be anywhere. He's a fair way back. He's nearly 20 seconds back. Never mind that, he's 20 seconds back. His classes said sayonara to him. I think he had a lot of issues in the opening laps. First attempt as well. Bruno streaking away for the GTD category. Got a 3-second lead over his mate, who's in a huge battle with Christian Alvarez. So he was squeezing him wide and pinching him on the apexes of corners. Christian flying away through now. He's within possible striking distance if the slipstream works out for him. It's looking good, it's looking good. Can he go up the inside? I think Zach Silver's going to block it. No, he doesn't. He backs out of it. Christian to get his nose in there. No, he doesn't. He thinks a little bit better of it. Gustavo, he's back a little bit. Here comes Richard from a little bit back. He's going to try and slip up the inside. He's not going to be able to do it this time, though. I'm sure Richard's going to be very livid as he knows he's got the pace for second or better. He's going to be trying to... oh, Gustavo, look, he's wide. It's going to give Richard the chance to come through here. As we go to the TV. Oh, they ding through the exit of that corner. Richard's not going to be very happy. He's going to be very, very annoyed in the cockpit of that car. He's going to be wanting to get by Gustavo very soon. I think he's being held up. Dallara now in a battle with Bernard. These guys are very close as well. And Bernard get a good run at Throaty Lexus. He had a little lift there, taking a lot of curb. I don't know if he's going to be within striking distance into this corner. He sure is going to have a little bit of a look, I think. He's going to back out of it. He's going to play smart. Marco just trying to find his feet, I feel. Porsche into the series as well. Alejandro in LMP2 now. He's found himself very far back. He's got a little bit of damage to that rear left quarter panel. So he's going to have it all to do as well. Anthony Dallara, he's back. That Chirino's now lapping. I believe that Chirino's lapping him. So Dallara's had huge problems. He's run wide again. He's going to be spewing. LMP2 cars, why are they back here? That's Nathan Matos. Has he pitted? Has he had damage? Has he needed to box? He was very quick and now he's so far back. That's not where you want to be. I hope that that's a timing error for his sake, because I know that he's quick enough to be up front, and I know that he was up front just mere laps ago. I believe that's a timing error. See how it goes with him. Dallara, he's in the pits. He's going to have damage. Mike Swerker, he's now pulled out a 1 second lead over Isaiah's, finally starting to stretch that gap. Chirinos, though, still got about another 4 seconds to get up to Mark and about 3.5 seconds to try and get up to Isaiah's. Managed to get his way up into third place. Look at him, he's finding himself in traffic though. I assume that's what's holding him up. Next quick work of one. Get by Luke. Oh, he's going to have to be forced around the outside. He's going to flash him. He's not happy with that. One also tries to get his way through. He's going to have to deal with this traffic very soon as well. Philip Munn's the DPI category. Down in 5th place, so he hasn't had the best few laps. So that's a very late move. That kind of caught me off guard there. Trying to make quick work of these guys back here. He tries to hang on to 4th place as he's kind of on the back of him. Oh, and again, Gustavo Luke holding these guys up, I think. Just going to put one susceptible to Mums. I don't think he's going to have the run. And to Ragland again, just edging in front of Nick, the leader of your LMP2 class, starting to run away now. I believe 4 second lead. However, I believe that Nathan Matos has some issues with timing, so we'll see how that plays out for the rest of the race. Carlos Rose edged out his teammate actually, Martin Yastek. And he's managed to find his way up into 2nd, so can he catch Nick possibly get the win. Last. Goodness, Berto, he's not been dropped though. He's still in contention with the MPG Motor Racing guys. Davy Folletto, he's managed to find his feet pretty well. I thought he'd be a little bit off the pace after seeing qualifying, but he's there. He's hanging on. Thomas Rashke, though, he's got a lot of work to do as he's only just come out of the carousel. He had a lot of issues early on, though. Bruno, again, still got a very nice lead. PGD category. It's a huge lead, actually. He comes out of the final corner now. Look at Isaac Silva. About 2 to 3 seconds back. He's still got Christian Alvarez. He can't shake him. He can't get him away. Gustavo, he's wide. He's in the wall. That's huge disappointment for him. That's a bumper off as well. He's going to need a pit, or else he's going to risk disqualification for that. That's very disappointing. And Marco gets turned by Berto in the LMP2. That's Monte Class Racing for you. You need the utmost vigilance from both parties to get these overtakes done, but it is generally up to the faster car to make it by. And I think Berto's kind of put his nose where it doesn't belong, and he's sniffed the wrong part, and he's kind of served Marco there. Marco's not going to be too happy with that. Neither would I. Delara, he's back. He's needed to pit before for damage. Nathan Matos is out. That's why we had a timing error. He's out. He's gone. He's lost his splitter. Out of this race. That's very, very unfortunate. Mark, again, he's leading. He's got a huge gap now to Isaias. He's got a 4-second gap to Isaias. So Mark's now unlocked his pace, and he's gone Lewis Hamilton hammer time now. He's going into the distance. Chirino's trying to catch up to Isaias. There's only a 2-second gap now. So Chirino's chasing him down very hard. See how that battle hots up over the next few laps. Yeah, look, he's kind of getting dropped now as well in the DPI category. He's got a 9-second gap to Chirinos, 15 to Mark. Juan Rose is trying to keep up. Doing a very good job though, I must say. Kenneth Ragland doing good enough, I don't think. He's got a lot of pace missing compared to the rest of these guys. I know he doesn't put in too much practice, don't blame him. But it is showing. Nick leading LMP2 now, still over Carlos Frau. He's got about a 3-4 second gap. I think Frau, he's definitely with a shot of a win here. He's still got an hour and 13 minutes, so it's a very long way away. I'm sure he should be seeing some pit stops in the next few minutes. I don't know how fuel limited this race is, or if it's tyre limited. I'm sure those lefts will be screaming, judging by the state of this track and the carousel. I'm sure those front lefts crying. Changed. Jonas Berto doing an okay job for himself. However, he got caught up with a GTD, but he's kind of on the back of Carlos Frau, who I think got passed by his teammate. No, where is Martin Jastek? Has he pitted? Has he pitted? No, he's out. He's out. He doesn't have any damage to his car either, so I don't know what's happened to him. There's no visible damage. So I don't know what's happened to him. That's very unfortunate. Oh no. Well, that's another DNF that we've got here. Gustavo, he's in the pits after some damage that he got. Been in the pits for a while now. Alvarez. He's DNF'd as well, or internet issues. That's disappointing. He was doing so well. He was on for a podium. Keep up, or maybe even the win, depending on what had happened. But that's really disappointing. Very good driver, and I know he puts in a lot of effort to these races, but being in Venezuela, he doesn't have the internet. Political issues, I'm going to say. That's all I can say on that. That's just very disappointing. It's sad to see someone of that caliber out. Burker, anyway, is out and away as he pulls out another second or more on Isaias. However, Chirinos is slowly creeping in. There in the background. He's reeling Isaias in, so he's going to be on for second place and going to try and charge for Mark Sverker. However, he's dropped about half a second to Mark. But Mark's doubling that gap distance to Isaias, so that shows that Isaias is slow and he's off the road. And that's going to cost him even more time. He's going to be just susceptible to Chirinos now. On board with him as they go through the carousel. Is Isaias going to crack again and go wide? I think he has gone wide. He's gone wide. He's losing huge amounts of time. He's just barreling the time out the window. He's just chucking it out. Chirinos, I think, is going to be on for a move into the next braking zone as they come through the kink. Can Isaias get a good run? It's alright. It's a lot better than what I thought it would be. Chirinos might not be in striking distance. Well, he is in striking distance. He's going to be able to get it done. No, he has a little look though. Well, has a big look, I should say. I think he could get it done into turn one if Isaias continues this as he runs wide now. Chirinos all over him. He's really got him under pressure. He's going to apply the blowtorch now and turn up the wick. He's going to try and get by him into turn one. I think if he can try and get the slipstream. So Isaias got a little bit better of a run there. Chirinos trying to get that slipstream, trying to pull in. He's only pulling in now though. I don't think that's going to be good enough. It's a big run, not good enough. I'm able to get him down into turn 3 though. Not going to be good enough for turn 2. I think he might be able to do it into turn 3. Doesn't look like it. I think Chirinos is just bound to get by Isaias in just a matter of laps though. Isaias seems very uncomfortable. His consistency isn't there. His pace is 100% there. I don't doubt that, but his consistency isn't there. Thought endurance wouldn't be his issue as he did do the 6 hours of Nürburgring by himself. They touch! Chirinos forced out wide and again bumped. We've seen that a lot here through that corner. I don't think Chirinos will be too happy. But he's trying to get on with it and push through. Now as they go through the carousel again, Chirinos is the one that runs wide. Yes, he is. So he's the one that's going to barrel a little bit of time. That's going to cost him. He's flashed. He is not happy. I believe that will be out of that corner that we saw where they touched, went side by side and banged wheels. So Chirinos not very happy with Isaias on that one. Sure, he's not going to give him too much of respect. Isaias, I think, lets him through there. That's good effort. That's good effort. That's just being the big man and letting him by it and redressing their position. You know, yeah, it's just common courtesy. I don't say that too often, at least in European motorsport. Normally they just put their head down and get on with it and wait for a penalty after the race, if any at all. But for him to get out of the way, very respectful. Philip Munn's in 4th, trying to chase these guys down. I think there is a pretty big gap to them though. Yes, there is. Not out of the question. About 3 seconds. No, it is 8. Never mind. Looking at the wrong guys. 3 seconds behind him is Juan Rosas. Kenneth Ragland again struggling, I think. He's 21 seconds behind Rosas and 42 seconds behind your leader, Mark Sverker. Here comes Nick. Still smashing it for the LMP2 class. He's got a 5-second lead over Carlos Frau. So Frau's keeping him honest. Frau's not making any huge inroads. So we'll see what happens with the pit stop phase. Got Berto he in the podium position. Yes, he is. So he's doing very well for himself. A lot of DNFs in LMP2 though. Very unfortunate. Rashki is in 5th. Or 4th in class, I should say. Does that mean that Davi's out? That's unfortunate. That's super unlucky. He was doing very well. I believe he is a new guy to the IVRC. Finding for him whether it's internet related or crash related. I'm going to assume internet related, judging by the state of that car, is very clean. Yeah, what do you expect? GTDs though, Bruno again. Huge lead. Not as big as what I thought it would be actually. Never mind, scratch that. Isaac Silva is fairly close, his teammate. I don't know if he's backing off for him. Richards managed to find his way back up into P3. Unfortunate for him though, he cannot challenge the likes of Isaac Silva just yet, as I think there is too big of a gap to close in for him. We can't see those gaps at the moment. But Isaac Silva is very close to Bruno. So I think we should be seeing pit stops within about 5 minutes. I think we should be seeing a 2-stop here. I'm going to guess maybe a 1-stop if anyone's brave. Back end of GTD looks very similar. Lara, is he missing a bumper? No, but he's wide and he's in the wall again. He's definitely missing a little bit of that splitter, that dinner plate at the front that gives you downforce to hunker those front wheels in. So maybe that's what is giving him a disadvantage through that kink. And Gavo back, he's got his lights on, and that is very, very, very bright. We push away from him, so I don't know if he's flashing one of the DPIs. If he can't believe Martin is out, that's very unfortunate. A lot of DNFs here today. Just unfortunate to see so many DNFs, especially from guys that are so quick, and I can only assume is internet related for the majority of them. Just a shame we can't see him race here today in challenge. Mark Swerker sets the fastest lap of the race as he goes a 1:46.4. It's only 1.5 seconds down on his best lap, 1.5 exactly. So he's flying at the moment. Tyre wear is not an issue for him, as it seems, but that means that he's starting to get low on fuel. So they're 14 laps in. Again, I'm not quite sure on how far a full tank can go. I think DPIs do have to pit before all the other classes, just on fuel consumption. Isaiah's in third, 2 seconds away from Chirinos, as Mark Swerker is doing the Sebastian Vettel-esque that he's kind of known for in the IVRC and just sprinting away. It took him a while to unlock it. I think he might have been a bit shaken from the first attempt at a race start. But he's eventually gotten into the groove and he's now starting to run away now. Even the likes of Chirinos, who was only 2/10 off him in qualifying, and in my eyes was the only one that could challenge him for a win, bar nothing else happening. Track's starting to rubber in now, as you can see all the marbles as Isaiah gets into him and runs wide. That's not going to help him out. I'll allow Munns, who is he's closing in. Isaiah, I think Isaiah is running out of a bit of talent there. As Juan Rosas runs wide and runs out of talent as well, but he is kind of close as well. So again, 3rd, 4th and 5th being kind of close. Kenneth Ragland, he's got a lot of time to make up. He's well off the pace. I'm going to say he's probably down to a lack of practice for him. Very unfortunate. Nick again dominating LMP2. Frau trying to deny him. You're LMP2 champion of the WEC though. So don't count him out. Don't count him out. It's still an hour left. Jonas Berto, Jonas Berto is in 3rd place for the LMP2s. He's a little bit off. Trying to make his way in. Carlos there, so a few second gaps gap between them, just 5 seconds. So they're about fairly evenly spread out, the top 3. You got Thomas Raschke though, a fair way down. He's getting by though. Anyone else retires in front of him though, that's going to be a podium position for him, simply for having good end of that and staying out. Pushing through the damage and the calamities of this race. Bruno's going to get passed by Chirinos. If you'd hope so, around the outside. Yes. Bruno again, he's got a decent lead in. You can't see the gaps. Zayas is going to be up behind him. Silva, I think, is pulling in. I think Silva pulling in or keeping him honest. Can we see Richard? Can't see Richard behind him. Richard's well back. He's only Not even in the carousel yet. So Richard in third place for the DPI, for the GTDs, I should say. Very, very, very far behind as Mark Sverker does a 1:45.9. That's less than a second off his pole lap. Showing that tyre wear does not affect this man. He can push through tyre wear like I've never seen. It just doesn't exist for him. Only contributor to his lap times is fuel, I think. And that's kind of it. Fuel and damage. Behind him though, Chirinos is only doing 1:46.7 is what his best lap is. That's 0.8 away from Mark Sverker's best lap. So not good for him. Back from him is Isaias with 0.6 deficit to him. Buns, showing that he does have the pace, has a faster lap than Chirinos even. So Buns just needs to get the consistency dialed in the rest of this race, and he could be on for a podium as well. Kenneth Ragland, glimmer of pace, he's done a 47.4, which is similar to the best lap of Isaias. So sure Ken just needs to dial in consistency as well, as is a story for a lot of drivers in here, those that are new. As you look into LMP2, their lap times, 1:50.6. It's going to be the best lap for driver Carlos Frau. It's only half a tenth off the best lap from Nick. He's closed in half a second on Nick that lap. So he's managing to work his way into the fight. Oh! Bruno's going to have to pit or else he faces disqualification. So it doesn't matter what he is on fuel. He's going to have to be in this lap. That's big damage to the front end though. That's super unfortunate. Has Isaias managed to slip by? Yes, so Isaias has slipped by. I've missed that while I'm reading off the timing screens. I'm very sorry for that. It is 5 AM in Australia, so leave me alone. Richard, that's going to promote him up into second place, I think, after Bruno pits. Bruno's going to be a lot of understeer coming to the pits. Yes, he is. Allow Richard to close in and possibly get a second place. At least a net second place for the moment, as he's going to have a lot of damage to repair. Bernard finds himself in 4th place for the GTD. Marco in 5th. Darvo in 6th. Lara in 7th. That rounds out your current racing GTD members. Obviously, Christian Alvarez had issues. He was running 3rd place at the time, battling for 2nd. Mark Sverker, dominance as he's shown. He's just lapping at an insanely quick rate. His last lap only 4/10 shy of his best lap. He's not showing any signs of slowing down, and he pulled out a 7/10 gap to Chirinos on that lap alone. As you look down to GTD times, 2:02 for the race leader. Was 2 seconds quicker than his teammate, which very surprising as his teammate came into the pits on that lap, so unless the line's very early in this version, only be 2 seconds off isn't too bad. It was still faster than Richard Wander's lap. So, no, I'm mistaken. Richard Wander, it's just switched as I was looking at the time. Richard Wander's is about 1.2 seconds off from Isaac Silva, so Isaac Silva's going to be running away from Richard at the moment. He's got the pace to fight with Silva. However, he's not showing it at the moment, as the start of the race would have rocked him a little bit, I am sure. Bernard is 2 seconds back again from Richards from their last laps. Marco's done a 2:13, that's not good enough either. Get to Lara. Bruno, I think, is DNF. Yes, he has DNF, so he's retired on that note. That's a huge shame. He was leading the GTD field, and he's retired just half an hour into this race. So people are dropping like flies in this. That's insane, as Thomas Raschke's made it past Carlos Frau. Thomas Raschke leads LMP2. Does he? Was Carlos Frau pitted and he's ended up back here? Yes, I'm mistaken again. I've missed out on a lot trying to look at the timing boards. My apologies. And Kenneth Raglan being in a DPI, he's a little bit further back than what he should be. Jonathan Berto is in the pits, so he's going to try and come out in front of Thomas Raschke. I think Thomas Raschke is going to jump in. Thomas Raschke hasn't pit yet, so it is Carlos Frau you're looking at. He's going to be his competitor. Next starts to come out of the pits. It's going to be a race out of pit road. Where is Carlos Frau? I don't think he's there. See him, and the TV pans back behind. Oh, there comes a DPI. Well, Philip Munn's flipping through there at the very last second. Thomas Raschke, he's not far behind, but neither is Carlos Frau. So Carlos, I think, maintains the gap. Maybe he's lost out a little bit to them. So two stop again for the LMP2s, I'm going to assume. Berto comes out just a little bit after as well. So Thomas Raschke still to pit. Isaac Silva driving along. If these guys can, if Thomas Raschke can stretch out another 9 more minutes, fuel and tyres, he could be on for a one stop, which could be very interesting. That's a big task. That's another 5 to 6 laps over the rest of competitors. Again, still doing very good lap times. 3, but Richard answers back and he does a 2:03.5. So not losing as much time. Silva seems to be all over the place. I assume these guys are going to be pitting anytime soon. So three tyres are absolutely shot on that Lexus, as he's now the only car driving for the Volts e-racing team. Due to the unfortunate DNF of his teammate, due to what I can only describe to be a huge front-on crash, as he was missing front bumper and front hood. So too much damage and he decided to park the car. Richard currently on for second place in the DTDs. Does have a lot of time to make up if he wants to make that a win. Thomas Raschke, he's being passed by Carlos Frau as Carlos Frau makes his charge on towards Nick. They're a lot closer than what they were last lap, so I think Nick's had a very slow out lap. Frau's been very, very quick. Thomas now comes into the pits to serve his pit stop. First of 2, I'm going to assume, so he's not going to be able to stretch it out. He will be on a 2 stop as well. 2 shorter stints now for him, if that's going to be any consolation to him. But Thomas Raschke, I think Silva's still leading. Silva's last lap time was a 2:03 dead. Richard again can't answer back well enough. It has a 2:04.1. That is pointing out to me that they are on pretty dead tyres. So see how that continues to play out. Marco, he himself 14th, which is that on a podium? No, it's not. Bernard is on for a podium. Marco finds himself in 4th. One more DNF though in front of him, and he will find himself on the podium. And by the judging of how this race has gone, that is a very likely possibility. Anthony Delara, he's had a very tough race. Bruno as well. There's your DNFers. Due to damage and internet connection for a lot of them. Most of them. Max Verco now, he's in the pits. Is he going to get out before Chirinos? I assume so, because he had a 10-second lead over Jesus Chirinos. He came into the pits. So we'll see how that lap barrels down. 30 seconds, but he's already out and away. I don't even think that's a question. Zeus is kind of upset, I think, with that, as he had to charge through a lot of the grid, whereas Mark is known, at least in TCC, for chopping through the grid in a very safe and legendary manner. Because I can remember my first ever race in the IVRC. TCC, I started on the pole in a reverse championship grid race when they used to have those. on the pole. Mark he was the leader, so he started in last. At the first sector of Abu Dhabi, I look down behind me at the back straight. I'm leading, and Mark Swerker's right up behind me. So tell me that, how he passed 15 cars in the first sector of Abu Dhabi, no less. That's probably the point that sticks out to me. Anyway, Nick being chased down by Carlos. I think Carlos has a little bit of ground. No, they seem to be quite even, these guys. So I think both is trying to push each other into a mistake, as Frau's going to have to let past Mark. They're in a voice chat, so I assume that will be a very easy let by. Yes, it is. Plus lets him slip on the racing line. Randy's outside. See what Mark does. He can get in the way of Nick. I'm pretty sure Mark is good friends with Nick, so I think that he will leave him. I don't think Mark will die. Berto, he's looking for a podium for his LMP2 race. I don't know if he's ever gotten one. Thomas Raschke also looking for a podium. He's in 4th, and just one more position will grant him that. He's got a long way to do it though. Still 50 more minutes in this race. Like Silver finds himself leading after his team crashed out. Richard in second, trying to chase him down. There's a huge gap between Richard and Silver. Richard wants to get this win. He's going to need to get a move on and get on with it. Bernard's quite a long way off Richard. So GTD is now very spread out as the drivers competing and making the racing in GTD. Normally one car in each of the battles has dropped out, so for the lead it was your race leader at the time, dropped out being Bruno, and Christian Alvarez was battling for second at the time with your current race leader Isaac Silva. Very big shame to see those guys drop out. Also Christian Alvarez with that being internet related and not driver related. Checo, he's wide. Is he going to be able to actually run away from Isaac? This could be interesting. Just to show the difference between LMP2 and an LMP2. The driver, the LMP2 gets off the corner, it's just gone. I'm sure Thomas Raschke won't mind me saying this, he's not the quickest driver in the world. However, no matter to that, he's still absolutely running away. Look at that, he's got at least a... Whoa! There's a wild Kenneth Rackland sliding up the inside in the TPI. That's something you don't expect. There's the pace difference. Oh my god, if you're not watching your mirrors, you can easily be unsighted by another class coming up behind you, especially the DPIs or the GTDs. We've only got 15 runners in the race. Still got all DPI drivers, bar one. The DPI having the best attrition rate, or worst, I don't know how you put it, but the least guys drop out. I think GTD is probably the worst for its attrition rate. Having the race leader drop out, some battling for the podium positions drop out as well. Someone else, I believe. Good damage. Mark making quick work of all the lap cars in his DPI. A livery that he's carried for quite a while now. Has almost become iconic in the IVRC. Mainly when it was in the WEC. Do a lot of good things with that car. Bruno's trying to make inroads, but 20 seconds behind. Le Mans, he's 20 seconds behind that as well. Isaias, he's not in with a contention. Nick again leading. Where would Frau be? Right, so he's coming on the back straight end of it. Frau's just started it, so about that back straight behind each other. Not too far. The driver lapping the quickest out of them. is Nick. So Nick has pulled out a second lead on that lap. As they go across the line, what laps they do now as Fran gets a little bit squirrely coming off. Across the line goes Nick. The 151 dead. Alice Frere comes across the line. There's a 151-1. Very identical, only 3 100ths were in it that lap. But Fran needs to definitely get a move on if he wants to challenge for the win, as he's a few seconds up the road. Jonas Berto not doing too well. Oh, but doing very well, I should say. He's in third place. My mistake. Thomas Rashke in fourth place. He's very far back, but he's due to the attrition right now in P2. He's managed to keep himself in P4. We're going to the leader at GTD now. As I said, we'll go on board with him. Once he comes across to start his lap, we'll go on board with him for a lap. See what the leader of DPI, or GTD I should say, is doing. Do the same for the other classes at other points throughout this race. Looking at Mark's lap times now, he's nearly a second quicker than Chirinos to the second sector alone. So that shows you his pace. Anyway, Paul Silva, go on board for a lap. It's going to be a lap for your GT leader. That's going to be 2.8. Have a fast car come up his inside. That's going to be your LMP2 leader. In Nick, who's run a little bit wide, which has made it awkward on the exit of turn 2. Nevertheless, though, so they've sorted that out. Richard, second place, so still trying to find his feet. Lapping consistently in the low 204s, which isn't good enough to catch the leader, but he's good enough to run away from the rest of the pack. So kind of in no man's land, Richard. At least in his class, he's very far away from either party. This point, 40 seconds away from the leader almost, but 30 seconds ahead of his behind. Very spread out, everybody, except for Carlos Frau. He seems to be the closest in the battle for the lead of LMP2. Get any more? Oh, I hope not. What else? Okay, that's great. Worker, your leader, still putting on a dominant performance lap after lap. Definitely turned down the wick a little bit, I think, unless it's the full fuel load. Stops in of... If you do pit stops now, could make it to the... No, I think they have to do about 3 more laps before we can see stops to the... A little bit longer. Pit window opens. Furthest car that went then was Thomas Raschke. He went nearly to the 49-minute mark, 40 minutes on one stint. Very impressive. Might not be the quickest guy in the world, but he sure does love his strategy. He was stretching for a one-stop, quickly realised driver stretch for the fuel, I'm going to assume. Being kept honest. Who is being kept honest though? Is Nick, I think, from the attack of Carlos Frau behind. I wouldn't say attack, it's about a 6.5 second gap, but Frau's 100% keeping. Look very honest for the lead of LMP2. But Frau is a championship winner with WEC for LMP2, so he knows how to win a championship. I'm sure as second place he will be very happy with. I don't think he's the kind of guy to go out and chase wins. Obviously he's very nice too, but I don't think he'll be kicking himself about not winning if the results stand the way it is. Very good result nonetheless. Huge spread from the field as we have another DNF. It's going to be Antonio Isaias for the DPI. That's unfortunate. It's going to promote Kenneth Ragland up to 4th place. He's one of the slower drivers in DPI, but he could be up for a podium. He's a minute and a half behind the leaders, or the leader being Mark. The next car is about 30 seconds. There's about a 30-second spread between each of the cars as Berto comes into the pits. About a 30-second spread between each of the cars high up. I think there's been... No, timing is just a little bit awkward through one of the sectors. That made me think that Mark had crashed out for a second. I'm quickly going to go check. He's not in here. Car looks fine. So no commentators goes for Mark, at least I hope, as he section after the back straight coming in. Up all the curb there. It's a track extension. I think he drove drunk in the JTC race and had 101 track limit violations. Being a very good driver as he is, he does some stupid things every now and again, and that being one of them was quite hilarious to everybody, as I believe it was Christian Alvarez who sat down and counted all of those off tracks. So well done to him. I think we should go on for a lap with... Yes, he is coming to start a lap, so we'll go on board with him. You guys listen to LMP2 as he goes for a hot lap. going to be a lap from your LMP2 leader, Nick, crosses the line for a 1 minute 50.2, so not too far off his pole lap actually. Only 3/10 of his best lap, so that was a very quick lap from Nick there. No slipstream. Carlos Frau just behind. Again, trying to chase him down. Carlos Frau, in comparison to Nick, was 1.8 seconds he lost there. So Carlos Frau, at the rate he's going, it is not good enough. He's being dropped essentially from Nick. Nick is trying to run away at the moment. I think Nick has turned up the wick to get away. Who's this? That's one Rose, who finds himself in third place. Yes, he does. So he's on for a podium, this guy. He's going to be very happy with that, as I lose connection. The life timings, so we'll see what happens with that. Got the GTD. No issue with the server, so that should be okay. That is just live timings from live races. Warner's again trying to keep up the pace with Isaac Silva, and what are the lap time comparisons between them? 8/10 again, Richard's losing, but Richard managed to do a 2:02 that lap, and that is his best lap, so he's done something special there. If he can maintain it, I'm sure that's what his aim is to do, but if he can maintain it, then it's only matching Isaac Silva, who's really come into his own this race, it must be said. He's really found the pace over the rest of the field, as he was making inroads on his teammate, for his teammate unfortunately dropped out of the race. So it would have been interesting to see what would have happened to the GTD field. Pretty sure Richard walked away with a third place finish last round. Good podiums for him. If he can maintain this second place, I'm sure he'll be very happy with, and will help his championship out very significantly. Like Silva, though, I think is going to be a very good rival for him, as it's for his final stop. He's going to be doing about 34-minute because it's +1. As Checo has a little bit of a moment for the, where is he? For the final corner, so just at the end of the back straight. I think he's missed his braking marker, and he goes wide again. Has he got damage? No, it doesn't look like it, as he continues to understeer. Healthy? Reno Lake keep alive. Marco comes into the pits as well to serve probably what will be his final stop. Should maintain lead here. Does, I think Isaias comes out in front still, which just kind of shows you the lead that Isaias has, Isaac Silva, sorry, has over Richard. I think it's much though. I think Richard is background. Yes, he is. He's only just behind. Richard needs to make a pit stop though, so Isaac Silva has pulled out more than a pit stop lead over Richard Wanders. That shows you the dominance that he's had. Richard was on, I reckon, but his consistency has proved to not be up to the standards of Bolt's e-racing Lexus. It is Marco. He's currently taking up. Dead last of all of the runners, a lap down from Bernard. So wouldn't surprise me if he parks it up. Wouldn't mind him to continue on though. It's always Jesus. has made a huge inroad on Mark. He's kind of there now. So Mark hasn't dropped him. Still half an hour to go. Mark's just picked back up the pace. He's been doing 147s for a very long time. He's only now just dropped in to the mid 146s. Jesus Chirinos though pulls out even faster, only by about a tenth or two, but he answers back to Mark answering back. So it's getting a little bit spicy for these guys. But don't count them out just yet for the DPI category. But Chirinos has got his foot buried through that floor pan. There's a yellow flag. Is that Mark? Was that a DPI? It is Mark. I don't want to call it too early actually. Mark's had an issue. Yes, it is Mark with the yellow mirrors. That's Mark. So we are on now for the DPIs. Finally, we've got a race on for the DPI and the overall victory. Things are now starting to heat up and get very interesting, as I think Mark's everywhere. Has he got damage, or is he just shaken from the nerves? As Chirinos is going to look up his inside through the king touch. Mark manages to hold on there side by side, coming down the back straight away. Can Chirinos get around him? He's cleared him, and he quickly slams the door. Mark's going to look up the inside. He thinks better of it, and he has to slow him behind. Chirinos takes the lead. I said don't count him out, and he's now taken the lead, and he's going to try and just romp away with it. He's going to be absolutely wringing that Mazda's neck, and I'm sure Mark's going to be wringing the neck of that car too as he dives into the pits for his final stop. Going to try and get the undercut on Jesus. So I think Jesus is going to probably dive into the pits the very next lap to try and answer back. Mark is going to go like hell for this lap. See what happens. Go on board with him, I think. Best course of action, but they were right on each other, so pit exit for whenever Chirinos comes out is going to be vital. Chirinos needs to do quality laps. He needs to do a hot lap here. Same too with Mark. These guys are going to be neck and neck on pit exit. Finally, we've got a race on our hands. Mark's going to need to get away nice and good here. He's going to be livid. He's going to be so angry at himself for that tiny slip up, which then caused him to have an absolute ding-dong battle coming out of the carousel through the kink and down the back straightaway, all the way into that corner. 90 degree right-hander. So he's going to be going like hell. He's going to be wringing this car's neck on the cold tyres. Try and make the undercut work on Chirinos. Where's Chirinos? Coming out of the carousel. Is he going to pit this lap? You'd have to make the undercut work, or you'd have to do it to block off the undercut, I should say. This is going to be really awesome coming out of pits. Just waiting to see if he pits this lap. I assume he will. I can only assume that he would. Last lap, Jesus managed to do a 147.2, and that was with Mark in the way. And that's only a tenth of his best lap. So Jesus, oh no, it was the second lap, my bad. So no, he's continued on. So Mark on the fresh tyres with more fuel, it must be said. So Mark's going to have the heavier fuel load. Jesus is he believes that tyre wear is not going to be a factor. So he's going to try and carry on. The gap between them is 46 seconds. So we'll monitor that, as we'll just probably keep on board with Chirinos at the moment, as they are the closest drivers at the moment, as Anthony Delara DNFs in the DPI category, or in the GTD category. He DNFs in that, promoting Marco up to P4 in class. So Marco being committed to staying out, even though he's not had the best race in terms of lap times, consistency. He's still in P4, so he's going to score very good points for himself for the AES Championship. He's having a lot of DNFs. I think we're rounding up to 9 22 drivers have left track. Sure, some in fits of rage, some with internet problems, some because they don't see a point in continuing on. Kirinos, he's going to pit this time, but he'd have to, as that gap actually increases, so maybe he might stay out because he does have the lower fuel load. The lower fuel load would help him continue to do fast laps as he doesn't pull into the pit, so he's going to continue on with that low fuel load and try and extend that gap to Mark Sverker, who I assume is absolutely going for it. So he's going to come up to traffic soon, as I'm seeing on the live timings, as that's finally come back to life. And he's going to have traffic in front of him, so Mark is going to be fuming. He has to deal with these cars up ahead. He's going to be hoping that Jesus is pitted. He's going to find out very quickly that he hasn't, and Mark's going to be the one in lap traffic. So if Kirinos has maintained that gap, Mark's going to have to clear these cars. And if that gap stays the same, that means Kirinos will clear them automatically. He won't have to deal with them. He deals with Marco though very quickly, as Marco does a very nice job of getting out of the way for him. So I'm sure he wouldn't want to get in his way at the moment, as he'd be very mad at himself for the mistakes that he made, kind of throwing away that huge gap that he'd worked so hard to get to, as he kind of dialed the car down for a certain point there, and was just happy to run mid 147s I should say, try and conserve tyres and fuel. However, it hasn't worked out for him, and he's jumped into the pits and now wringing this thing's neck to try and close down Kirinos. But I'm sure Kirinos is doing the same thing, but Kirinos has less fuel in the car, and I think fuel is probably a bigger contributor to lap times than tyres does. As there is a position change, Brow manages to get past Nick. I assume that will be for LMP2 due to a pit stop from Nick, I'm going to assume, because Nick had such a huge gap, so we're going to have to look at that. Look at Frau. There's Nick. That's going to be a pit stop. That's too big of a gap. That's a pit stop. Mark. There, Kirinos is there. Going through the carousel. Just exited that under the... Oh, he's gone on for another lap, so Kirinos is going to maximise all of the low fuel that he can run. Just go for pure lap time. Look at their laps. They're inseparable. A 146.275 for Kirinos, a 146.29 dead. So 0.015 between these guys. They are both going for it. Mark has the benefit of fresh tyres. Kirinos has the benefit of low fuel. Mark doesn't do a good lap there, though. He does a 147.6 after having to deal with that lap traffic. So that's going to hurt him a lot. Air battle. Just depends when Kirinos is going to come into the pits. If I were him, though, I just continue to push until that gap came down to about that 47-second mark. Or at least try and extend that out to at least 50. But he's going to come out, he's going to have the fresh tyres, he's going to have the low fuel. He doesn't have to worry about anything, and he can wring its neck after. And you'd always be looking at where Mark is on track, because you'd want to come out, you know you're going to come out in front of him. So when you're looking at where Mark is on track, and you know you're going to come out just a little bit in front of him, you're going to want to make sure that you're not going to have lap traffic in front of you, at least for a while. Because lap traffic could hurt you a lot, and you never know what could happen, especially in the final stages of the race. What Kirinos is going to be trying to do is he's just going to focus on lap times and when next pit. So I think he's going to try and extend this out all the way until he's got no fuel left in that car. Due to the fact that these tyres are fairly durable and can maintain lap time. He continues on for another lap again. Look through the field. Mark trying to push the car as much as he can. See his best lap. Up to Kirinos is 48 seconds. going to be spewing at that because he does a 47 again. That's not good enough. That is not good enough. I think Cherno's backed off still a little bit. He goes a second slower than what the lap times he was doing. And Mark manages to gain back 2/10 though. Only 2/10. That's not enough. He needs a 45-second gap, I think, to Cherno's, but it's starting to wind in. I think now, if you're Cherno's, you want to dive into the pits right now, and you want to be able to defend the position from Mark, because if it's purely on pit stops, you don't want to come out and be behind him after you did get in front of him. Even though it was right at the end before Mark dove in, you did get in front of him. So, do the exact same lap times, you'd come out in front of him, and it's better to defend the position than to let someone, you know, do time attack to get past you. So if I was Cherno's, I'd be really considering diving into the pits this lap. Trying to see what Cherno's is doing, and he doesn't pit. And he continues on. Very interesting strategic battle now between these guys as Mark is now starting to shave off a lot of the fuel. He doesn't have much left, 18 minutes I should say, in the race to go. So they've got not even 20 laps left. Race. I could not imagine being in Mark's position. You have the lead. You have the lead at the first start. You get turned around, put in the wall. You're behind everybody. You start to make your charge through the field. Then there's a server crash. Hallelujah. You start last, but you're in the DPI starting position, so you don't have to clear out the GTDs and the LMP2s. And it's all closed in again. You fight your way to first within a matter of laps. You start to charge away. And one mistake, one big mistake, puts Cherno's at your rear bumper and up your gearbox, and you go side by side through the kink. Cherno's sticks you one. See you later, mate. You dive into the pits, and now you're just gonna try and do hot laps to try and outdo him. Couldn't imagine being Mark now, as he'd be stressing very much so. That car's Nick's gonna get passed by that DPI. Carlos Frau, he has dropped to Nick, still dropping lap time as well. It's about 10 seconds or a little bit more. Nick. Jonas Berto, 35 seconds back from Frau. So again, it's all spread out, but if you look on pit strategy, Chernos and Swerko that you need to be looking at. Because I think Chernos is in. So we'll quickly go to him. Yes, he is. I want to go on board with Mark. He's going to come out here. Oh, it's going to take an age for Chernos. He's going to hate this. He's going to want to exit the pits as soon as possible. Here comes Mark. He's flying. Now Chernos gets to drop the limiter and go for it as Mark now coming out at full speed. Probably just tunnel vision on that red Mazda. He'd be livid. He'd be fuming. He wants to get around him. He's got 16 minutes to do so. Chernos has the slightly fresher tyres. Fuel doesn't matter. They're both good on fuel. I'd hope so, at least. Chernos is going to have to defend for his life with Mark behind. I don't think Mark will be making another mistake from here on out. Oh, look at him close up to him in the braking zone. Mark's got the warm brakes. Chernos sat there for 40 seconds. Chernos has got very, very, very cold brakes. Going to try and warm them up, warm up the tyres. Try and stay in front of Mark as he has to defend from the WEC champion. And a TCC champ, I believe Mark has won every TCC championship, so he's acclaimed throughout a variety of series, this man. Chernos as well, he's always been a championship rival in everything he's done. Mark is all over the rear wing of that Mazda. Going to give him a little bit of a bump, he's going to give him a push, he's going to force his way up the inside. She's going to turn to the outside for this corner. Chernos on the inside, going to outbrake himself. not Mark, and he's going to give it away again. That's disappointment for Chirinos as he fought so hard to get that and keep it. However, he was gifted that position, or at least a lot of it was from Mark's mistake. Now it's Chirinos that makes the mistake and hands the position over. However, it's not over, as they are still very, very close to each other. Mark's, he's in the group now. I don't think he wants to make a mistake. I don't think he's in the position to make a mistake. He's going to be fully focused. Doesn't want to drop back into 47s again. He wants to wring that thing's neck and go for the win. Oh, no! Chirinos! Oh, no. Bernard turns into Chirinos on the exit of turn 2 there, I think, or at least lost the rear end into him. Chirinos is going to be spewing at that 1.4 the gap now between these guys. Chirinos wanting everybody to get out of his way. Mark as well. But that's really not going to help Chirinos' mood after being turned in on by a GTD no less. One car's wide there. I believe that is Checo as he gets well out of the way of everybody. Good on him. Good job of getting out of the way. Chirinos using up all the road he can. You can barrel a lot of time if you run wide here. Chirinos keeps a nice and tight line. Look at that. He's just planted to the inside of that corner to try and straight line it as best he can. Hug that inside. This corner's flat in a DPI. He can see him. He can see Mark. He can see the victory. It almost slipping away from him. Be very, very livid if he throws this away from that. See Mark in the distance, coming up to some more lap traffic as he kind of catches him at the worst time. But Chirinos is going to get a very good run. He's going to have Berto in front of him. He's going to flash him. Berto flashes the GTD. I think he's going to go around with Chirinos. Yes, he will. They come across the line. 2000s. Mark Swerker pulls on Chirinos. There is nothing in this. Damn. Generally when you're behind a car, at least I find it to be a lot easier, do a lot better than the car in front. You can see where they're quicker than you, and you can adapt your braking points and your turning points to what they're doing in the quicker points. And you see where you're faster. And you stay to what you're doing is faster. So you can really improve your lap times behind people who are similarly, who are just as quick as you. Which Chirinos is going to be doing now. Being right up behind Mark. He does not want to see that car slip away into the distance. He wants to get by that Cadillac. And he wants to take the win. Self and Mazda and C-Force Racing. Can't see the split times, but it's going to be very close in these final few stages. I think there will be a move within the next few seconds, so we'll quickly run through the order. Kenneth Ragland has managed to keep himself in fourth. Juan Rosas has dropped back into fifth for the DPIs. Nowhere near Ragland, he's 26 seconds behind. Leader of your L2 is going to be Nick, being followed by Chirinos. Got a very healthy lead over, not Chirinos, over Carlos Rao. Sorry, very addicted to keep up with that battle as it was 1.6 seconds now. Nothing in it, just 1.6 seconds between those guys. Third place is Berto. He's had a very nice race, managing to maintain a podium in class. Very wide. He's not having the best of races. I think he really needs to work on his consistency. That's his biggest issue, at least from what I can tell. But he's doing very good for himself. He's keeping P4. It's good solid points, even though it might be due to attrition. Can't argue with fourth being good for points. He's going to be very happy with himself for that. Silver. 1-2 for him and his teammate at the start. Now it's just him. His teammate was leading by a fair amount as well. He started to pull in his teammate. His teammate managed to crash before he even got to him. Handed him the lead. Richard Wanders, he had a very difficult start to get back into the groove of this race. to the start, he was back, ran a bit wide, ended up in traffic for a lot of the start, and he's had issues with consistency and pace. Finally started to come back to him, but he's kind of been a Max Verstappen-like race. They're kind of in the middle of nowhere. You know, you're up top. It's hard to pretend to be happy, and you're losing speed to the leader. But I'm sure he will maintain a positive outlook on second, as it's going to look good for his championship after he managed to score third place, I'm pretty sure. First round in Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Third place though is Bernard. And very good for himself with the attrition rate in here being so high. Marco managed to keep him in fourth with no connection issues, managing to just plough on, keeping it in fourth. DNFs though is going to be Delara as our latest one. One before that was Zayas, who was in the DPI. Before that we also had Gustavo Luke, Porsche, your race leader at the time for the GTDs, and the current race leader's teammate, Bruno, unfortunately out due to a crash with very heavy damage. David Folletto, new guy I'm pretty sure, LMP2, end of the IVRC. He was doing very good for himself. I'd like to see where he could have put himself. I think he could have been on for a podium, very much so. Fortunate to see him go. Alejandro, again in LMP2, he's out, he's gone. Martin Jastek, Carlos Frau's teammate, Frau trying to claw in for the win. That would be a good way to avenge his teammate. However, his teammate is not going to be able to do anything as he's in the pits, unfortunately. Fellow commentator he is as well. Very good one at that. Much better than what I'm doing at the moment. Christian Alvarez, very good GTD driver. Doesn't make it to many races nowadays, but he's very quick, very consistent. He was battling for P2 at the time. I believe he had internet issues. It seems to be a common Achilles heel for him. And I believe one of our first DNFs was Nathan Matos, I believe. Yes, it was. And we also had another DPI join the field when I believe it shouldn't have start the first attempt I had at a race start. So I think he left as a bit of a no-no. Jonas has gotten past Swerker, and I haven't realised. Unbelievable. So Swerker must have made another mistake when I called that he wouldn't. So I've done a commentator's curse to Mark. Oh boy, how am I going to explain myself to him? To their lap times, Mark's done a 46.8. Chirinos has done a nice and casual 48.1. That happened about 2 laps ago, I assume, for the move then. So I was going through DNFs, of all things. Wow, I don't think this is over yet, as Mark is gone 1.4 seconds quicker than Jesus Chirinos. And his best lap is near on 7 or 6 to 7 tenths ahead of Chirinos' best lap. I don't think Mark will let this go, but it is a big ask to make up 7 seconds in just 6 minutes. He needs to make up the gap that he made the lap before every lap. He needs to put the pressure on Chirinos. He's going to be absolutely going for it now. Third gear, I think it would be second, so he must be really using the torque of that engine. But yeah, so they don't use all the revs in DPI. Very torquey engines that they've got. So it's a lot better to shift up very early. It's actually faster and more fuel efficient as well to the guys that shift up a lot later. So that would help if any of you guys are watching from the DPI category and you're wondering how people are running away from you on the straightaways. That's probably how. Shift up very early and use the torque. trying to chase him down. He is pulling in on him, but it's not by enough, as they do nearly identical lap times again, as Chernos answers back to Mark's 146. Philip Munns goes 146.1. That's mega. That's quicker than Chernos' best lap as well by a significant margin. I don't know where Munns has pulled that out, but that shows that he's got the pace, but not the consistency to continue that. But he's managed a P3, and I'm sure he'll be very happy with that, and I'm sure he'll be very happy with that lap. It's a very, very, very good time. Well, with Kenneth Ragland finds himself P4. Losing a lot of time to the car behind him. It's about a second a lap. See there, 7 tenths, 9 tenths, 1.9 seconds on the last lap to Kenneth Ragland. He charging Kenneth Ragland. It's a lot of time, about 30 seconds. 3 minutes, so Kenneth would have to put it in the wall. If you're listening, Ken, don't do that, mate. Keep it straight. Then maintain P4. It'll be a very, very good result for yourself. Nick has got a very nice lead over Carlos Frau. Done a very good job, Carlos Frau. He's worked for P2, getting past his teammate before his teammate, an unfortunate DNF. They'll be unlucky for the team, but I don't think many teams are going to score well in the championship as Berto comes into the pits. What could this be for? Is it damage? I don't think so. Or is he under-fueled? Berto's going to lose out to... who's he going to lose out to? Is he under threat? No, I don't think so. I don't think Checo... I think Checo's had a very poor race. Yes, he has. Checo will not be threatening him. Roberto's had the time. He's happy to get in, make sure he's good on fuel, get out. I'm sure he's good on fuel. If not, he's now got that pit stop window, so he'll be very happy with that if he can't nick. As we go to DPI, Silver, huge lead over that of Richard Wanders. It's an up and down race. You can't complain about P2, especially considering the start he's had. Done an alright job. Put it where it is now. Bernard, very good job as well in P3. Marco, very new. He's not the fastest guy. He said that himself, but obviously showing his determination to finish this race, and he's ended up P4. Very, very good job to just keep going around, put in laps, putting up a very good championship fight. Maybe not for the title, but at least to put himself very well up in the championship standings for the AES. The DNFs now as Swerker is closing in even more, so I don't think it is going to be enough. Swerker now, look at that, Chernos gained 0.005 of a second after that though. Swerker put it down of 0.5 tenth and then 3 tenths. It's not enough. I don't think Swerker can do it without a huge mistake from Chernos. It's unusual to see Mark crack, especially twice under pressure. Chernos, you can't fault him this race. He's done all he's needed to. He did make that one mistake, but it wasn't super costly in terms of time. Managed to apply the blowtorch back to Mark Swerker. He is going to have to do another 2 more laps, I believe, to do the +1 lap. I'm sure he doesn't want to do 2 laps. I'm sure he wants it to be 1 and done. However, it's going to have to be 2. He has done a very good job in that Mazda. He needs to hang on though. He's got a 6-second gap to a driver that is absolutely wringing that car's neck and is closing in on him. Not enough. Jesus needs to remind himself that he just needs to do consistent lap times. His marks. He can get the win here at Road America for the DPIs. Mark he's closed in a lot actually in that final sector. That's Closed him by nearly 2 seconds alone in that final sector. That's very odd. I don't know if Chernos had a problem. I think he should be okay. I don't want to go off this because I'll probably miss something if I go off it and the positions will change again. I'd like to run through the order one last time before we get the finishing order. So I believe it's white flag. If not, it'll be white flag next time by. There's Mark. Got back again. He's made a mistake. It's very unusual to see Mark's worker making mistakes. But he's doing it late here in this race. Richard, now getting passed by Berto. Carlos Frau again trying to put the hammer down to try and catch Nick, but Nick is just gone. He has been for a lot of this race. Bravo, he had to fight for that. He had to fight tooth and nail to go up many positions. I think it was at least 3 genuinely good overtakes put on display by him early on in this race. Fortunately, his teammate was one of them. Teammate not in the running anymore. Deco again, I know that he's a very committed driver to finishing, and as a result he's found himself P4 in the LMP2. GTD, can't fault this man, except for his start maybe, where his teammate kind of ran away from. Managed to fight back and he was closing in on his teammate. Unfortunately his teammate's bended in the wall at some point. Whether that's a result of another car or not, we do not know at this point in time. However, he's relinquished the lead from his teammate, so I'm sure his teammate won't be too upset about that. Going to lead this very comfortably over Richard Wanders. Got a bit of an upset this week. In terms of his performance, in terms of his place right now, I'm sure he'd be very happy. Bernard had a very good race. Marco again with a very good position that he put himself in. We try and go now to the leaders. Here's Chernos. I think it's the final lap. I believe it is. Yes, it is. Get the confirmation. At 51 of 51. All he needs to do is maintain a 7.3 second gap. The only thing that could kill him now, I believe, is fuel or a lap car. Got one in front of him. In LMP2 though, the speed difference isn't too drastic. Begging. This car plays nice. I believe it's Carlos Frau, so he will play nice. Might not even catch him before the final corner. Sure, he won't be stressed about catching him or passing him either. But Chernos, from a long way back, is going to win and beat a legend in Mark Swerker, and he's going to win at Road America for round 2 of the AEC. Mark's going to be disappointed. However, when you look at the race results for the championship, you can't be too disappointed. It's first and second for him in the first 2 races, and that kind of shows you his anger. That right there. I'm very angry with second place, I'm going to assume. Sure, get over it. Still leading the championship, but it is one that got away from him, and he will remember that. Then again, a very good race from Muniz, as he had the pace. I think he did. He did a very good lap just a few laps ago, actually. So that he did have the pace for the race win, or at least to battle up there with Jesus, but just the consistency, which many of the drivers were lacking. Ken has managed to fight tooth and nail to keep that car on track. He can get P4 here. I believe he will. He comes across the line. That's Rosas. Yes, that will be P4 for Ragland, as Rosas is in the sand trap. I believe he's finished the race. Nick for LMP2. Just utter dominance for Nick in LMP2. Carlos definitely kept him honest though. Across the line to win in LMP2 for the AEC, or for the AES I should say. Around the pits. Slowly goes Berto. Richard, I think he's happy with his second place. Could have been more. He had a better start. He definitely had the pace for to challenge Isaac Silva. Consistency, however, was questionable. Other than that, a very good result all around. Thomas Raschke runs out 4th place, just missing podium. Good winner for GTD, going slowly. I believe he's already crossed the line. Very happy about his win. His teammate will be too. It's some consolidation for you crashing out. Very happy with his 2nd place. And I'm mistaken. He must understand that he knows how hard he drove. But he's very happy with 2nd place in terms of the championship. Marco, very good race out for him. Get P4. Here's your order. Finishes. Here's your order of the finishes. We only had, I think, 13 in the end. They ended up finishing. Yep, from there onwards. 5 finishes for the DPI, 4 for the LMP2, and only 4 again for the GTD. So a lot of attrition in this race. Kind of surprising versus some other races. Nevertheless, though, good one, good finish, at least for the DPIs, and a very interesting and chaotic start.